Eric. It's good to see you again. I'm excited to be here. For those of you out there, I'm Jacqueline Lyday. I am a realtor in California, located in the Central Valley, and there is a new loan program that I've had a lot of clients asking me about, and Eric is going to give us all the information. Eric, how are you?
What's up, Jackie? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Do you want to give yourself a formal introduction?
Sure. My name is Eric Becerra. I am a senior loan officer. I have been a loan officer for 25 years here in California. I've actually been doing and helping homeowners with CalHFA loans for over 10 years. So Jackie and I go back many years. We've done many deals together. And so I'm super excited to be here and share some of this good information about this great new program.
Thank you, Eric. And you taught me everything I know in the loan world since I was, 21 years young, something like that, maybe 18. Yeah, you were my first boss. So you know everything about loans. And here we are almost, I don't want to put our ages out there, but here we are some years later, still learning all of the new loan programs and guidelines. So thank you very much for taking your time to explain this to us.
Absolutely. I think it's important that we should always be a student to the trade, right? No matter how long we've been doing this, we got to constantly reinvent ourselves as everything keeps evolving and changing, and be on top of all these great new programs and changes in the market. And right now, it's actually a very exciting time with everything that's kind of going on. Some may think, oh, is it a good time? Is it a bad time to buy? But there's actually a lot of great programs. There's a lot of great incentives. I know sellers are very, very motivated to sell their homes and negotiate. So, but today we're going to talk about this great program. It's called Dream for All. That's it's a program from CalHFA. It's a state agency that's been helping homeowners for many, many years. And so this program, by the way, though, is not yet available as of today.
Okay.
Today's the 13th, March 13th. This program will be available as of March 27th. And there's actually a few details that are still to be put out, but there's some nuts and bolts that we can go over today so that we can get some folks, interested and maybe create some questions about what they can expect.
Okay, wonderful. Who would you say this program is going to be the biggest benefit for? What's your ideal, I don't want to say target market, but for anybody out there listening, who would this benefit?
Well, typically somebody that doesn't have the money for a down payment, right? Down payment assistance, it's a double-edged sword, right? There's pros and cons always, right? But I like to say that if you really don't have money for the down payment, there are already some great programs right now that are available. What I like about this program, what's different about this, is because it actually is going to give a 20% down payment, which is huge, right? That can make the difference in somebody that was able to qualify or get the home that they need, right? Versus using a down payment assistance program that might be able to provide 3 to 5%. Not only the down payment, but the monthly payment can be drastically reduced, right? And so why? Because now they're putting 20% down, so the mortgage is only 80% of the purchase price versus closer to 100% of what they're buying it for.
Would that 20% be just for a down payment, or would it include closing costs or buying down an interest rate like you just said? How would that look? And will we still need any help from the sellers, or would there be a potential of giving a type of seller credit? And if so, what's the max amount?
I would say, because those details are not finalized just yet, for now, I would say it's safe to assume that this is only for down payment. I do believe, though, that it may be a great idea to see if the seller can help with some closing costs. If you, the real estate agent, can help negotiate for some help, that always goes a long way.
Okay, so if somebody were interested in purchasing a home and they have absolutely no savings, how much would you say is the minimum amount they would need in their bank account to feel confident moving forward?
So that's a good question, right? So one of the inspections or reports that are needed to get a mortgage is going to be the appraisal. That's one of the most important ones. And the appraisal there so we can establish what the value is, and there's some head and shoulders type of inspections to figure out there's any health safety issues with the property. That typically right now is anywhere between $600 to $800, depending where you live. So $800 for the appraisal. I want to say termite inspections are anywhere between $100 to $150.
Yeah.
maybe $200, right? Home inspections, $300 to $400, right? That's about 600. So yeah, so between $800 to $1,200 to $1,400, I would say safe to have so allocated toward inspections.
Okay, that's really good to know. And then for a lot of people out there, some of the homes that you are viewing have come back on the market, and some of them already have pest inspections. They already have home inspections. Does this apply for new build properties, Eric?
It does. This is for
Oh,
both
okay.
resale and for new home sales. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
who does this program not apply for, or who would just not benefit at all from this?
Well, from what we understand so far, this is for first-time home buyers only, right? So somebody that is not a first-time home buyer may not be eligible for this. What defines a first-time home buyer? Well, that's somebody that hasn't bought a home, or hasn't been on title of a home for the last 3 years. So
Okay.
it's been more than 3 years, then you may be considered a first-time home buyer.
What if they're married and they already have a primary residence, but it's not under their name? Would that still be considered a first-time home buyer?
Technically, they would not be a first-time home buyer because a spouse is on title on the property.
Okay, so potentially a person that is single or does not live in the property with their spouse is what you're saying would also qualify as a first-time home buyer?
Correct.
Okay, not on anybody's title, so you can't be on your mom, your brother, sister's cousin, nobody's title, free. Okay,
Nobody's title. Yeah, free of title, free of any homes. That's the secret sauce there. And believe me, there's lots of checks and balances that are done to ensure that whether or not somebody is on title, anywhere in the 50 states.
okay, wonderful. And then what is the minimum credit score needed to qualify for this?
So that hasn't been established just yet.
Oh, okay, good.
Now, I know CalHFA right now has a program that has a minimum credit score of a 640 FICO. So I don't know where they're going to land, but I would imagine it's going to be anywhere between 640 to 660, possibly even 680.
And by credit
There's
scores,
also,
you mean 2 of the 3 credit scores, correct? Need to be above a 640 or whatever credit score they establish?
yeah, so we go based off what's called the median of the 3, right? So of the 3 bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, we go based off the middle score. So regarding if you may have a score at 600, one at 700, and one at 650, then we're gonna go based off the middle score of 650.
Okay,
So yep. If somebody only reports 2 credit scores, then we go off the lower of the 2.
okay, that's really good to know. What documents do you need in order to qualify so people can start getting all their documents ready to hand over?
Yeah, so minimum documents that we need are going to be your last 2 years federal tax returns. That's your 1040s. If you're self-employed, you have a Schedule C. If you have a corporation, we need all the corporate business tax returns. We will need the 2 most recent W-2s. We'll need 30 days of your pay stubs from work, the 2 most recent bank statements from your checking and or savings. If you have a 401k or retirement account, then we would need the most recent quarterly statement and then your ID and social security card. That would be the minimum to get started with. Then based on the scenario, your situation, if there's anything that's different, then we would then gather additional information as necessary.
Okay, that's good to know. Would you explain to me a little bit more of the equity part of this loan?
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to do a little share screen here with us to kind of
Perfect.
paint a picture as I explain a little bit more about the program. So this program called Dream for All is, in essence, it's what's called a shared appreciation program. And so what it does in this example, for example, if you're buying a home for $350,000 here, right? That's your purchase price. DFA, Dream for All, would give you a 20% loan. That's for the down payment, right? That's huge, right? Because right now, most assistance is anywhere between 2 to 3 to 5, maybe 7%. This is 20% of the purchase price. So in this case, $350,000 would equal to $70,000 for the assistance, the loan they're going to give you. We don't know if it's going to accumulate interest, at what interest rate. We don't know those details just yet. Okay. For now, we'll assume that that there's no payment that's required at the moment, a monthly payment. That would leave you with a loan of $280,000. Okay. The idea behind this program is that, let's suppose that 5 years later, your home that you bought for $350,000 increased in value, which is now worth $450,000, right? It's about $100,000 in appreciation over the next 5 years, which is, and depending on the market, it can be realistic. But for simple math, we're going to assume that, right?
Okay.
On $100,000 appreciation, then the homeowner share of that appreciation is 80%. The DFA is going to share in your appreciation, share in your equity, 20% of what you've earned. So you've earned 100,000, then the DFA is going to stay with 20,000. Okay. So you stick with 80, DFA takes 20, and this is kind of pretty much how it fares out for the homeowner. After 5 years, I've done the math. Your principal balance will reduce after giving monthly payments, minimum monthly payments every month for 5 years. Your balance goes down to about $263,000 from your initial loan of $280,000, right? So it went down about $17,000 in principal reduction. Okay. So we're going to pay back the $70,000 to the DFA that you initially borrowed, plus the $20,000 in appreciation. So DFA is going to collect. They're going to get paid back $90,000. What that leaves you, the homeowner, is about $97,000 in home equity. Okay, how do we come up with that? Well, you had the $80,000 that's left over of the appreciation, right? Plus $17,000 in principal reduction. So you brought your payment down. So now you have about $97,000 in equity once you've sold this property. Some people might feel, well, I don't know how I feel about, the lender or this assistance program taking part in the appreciation or the equity in the home that I bought. I look at it this way: 100% of nothing is nothing,
right?
Right. And so if somebody can help you come in with 20% down, this assistance program help you with that, and you could still walk away after 5 years of appreciation, potentially forecasted here, of almost $100,000 in equity. You basically came in, again, not knowing how much you have to come in with closing costs, but in essence with zero money down, zero down payment. And right, 5 years later, zero down payment turns into $97,000 in equity. So I see that as a huge benefit. The other huge benefit that I see is that your loan now is going to be based off of a $280,000 balance versus a $350,000 balance. That could mean the difference of somebody qualifying or not qualifying for that home, right? Because if somebody, let's just say, was in that, could only qualify up to $280,000, then they would not have access to that $350,000 home without this program. There are two different options here, depending on the AMI, the average median income. If you're at 80% or over, your income is 80% or over the AMI based off the county that you live in, right? Based on the city where you live in, then the agency, DFA, will take 20% of the equity share. If you are under the 80% AMI, DFA will only take 15%.
Oh, wow.
So there's a little bit of a benefit to being under the AMI, right? And again, that's geared towards helping the underserved, right? So there is a little bit of a nuance there that we have to look at and we have to talk about when it comes to the eligibility and the qualification requirements.
And we'll make sure to include that AMI link so people will know basically what range they fall in and what the range is for the different counties.
And again, another reminder, this program will not be available until March 27th. However, we are taking right now a waiting list, if you will, of folks that are interested in getting initial information about the home, about this property, or about this program, so that we can see if you meet at least the minimum eligibility requirements. And then once the full guidelines come out, then we can be prepared, and so we can take advantage of it. Since we're going into the spring buying season, it's definitely something to have in our back pocket so that we can help folks get into homes a lot easier.
Well, I like it. I think it's a great program, and it's getting a lot of people some opportunity to get in some homes that wouldn't otherwise think that they could. So I really appreciate all this information today, Eric. Is there anything that you want to add in?
The only thing is, look, I've done a recent survey, and the biggest issue that most people find, or the biggest thing that holds them back from wanting to buy a home, is down payment, right? Yeah. It might be credit, it might be income, but the biggest factor from what I've found in talking to so many first-time home buyers is, I don't have enough down payment. The other big thing that we have to also remember that it's not necessary to put 20% down, right?
Right.
So this, even if this program, you're not eligible for this program, there's still other programs, and there's great programs that are available now that only require you to come in with 3.5% down, 5% down, 3% down, zero money down, right? That are still available. So there's still so many options, and I think it's so important that folks need to speak to a loan officer, speak to a realtor, so they can get you with the right person and find out where do you stand. Can I qualify? Is buying a home, is it right for me right now? Because it might not be right for you, right? So
Right.
I don't believe home ownership you may not be ready for it right now, but let's figure out a baseline, right? Let's figure out where you stand, where you sit, is it your budget? And let's put a plan in place so that if it's not now, maybe it's in 6 months, maybe it's next year. But let's have a starting point, right? You need to speak with somebody, a professional that can give you the real numbers and give you a true plan for what's next.
And what's the worst thing that can happen if somebody decides to get pre-qualified? Just to put everyone's fears at ease, what is the absolute worst thing that can happen?
You walk away with more information, more knowledgeable, right? You walk away with to find out where you sit.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate it. And for everybody out there that wants to learn more, we will include the links on this video below. If you want to ask any questions or have any pressing issues, even regarding any other loans, please feel free to drop a comment and we will get back to you guys soon. Have a great day, Eric. Thank you.
You too, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.